Hello and welcome to the session where we're going to be focusing on modules. So I'm going into the fifth Jupyter Notebook within the GitHub repository. We're focusing on week 2. I'm going to be loading up this particular session, which is on Python modules. And I'm just going to make sure first that I've actually got the package installed that I want to have installed. So I'm just pressing Control-Enter to run this, and it should be going into the virtual environment which I'm in and installing this NumPy package which we're going to use. So, Python modules. You can think of a Python module as a set of repeatable functions, basically, which is represented by a library of code, and essentially this saves you having to write all of these functions out yourself for each project. So you can just borrow other people's code, other people's modules, other people's functions, and use them in your own without you needing to basically write it all out from scratch. So it's a very common thing within computer science for you to basically share code like this in order for you to kind of simplify the whole process of doing analysis. You can get many different types of packages, and many come already within the Anaconda distribution, which we've downloaded. Others you can go off and get. So, for example, I installed the NumPy library, and we're going to be using math as well in this session. And you can kind of think of these as a little bit like when you're working on a specific project. You might go to the library and you might get 4, 5, 6, 7 library books in order for you to work on a particular problem for that one project. And you can kind of think of it like this in terms of which packages you need in order to work on a specific piece of data analysis or modeling or simulation. So you should be able to import these packages into your environment by using the import statement, and we're going to focus here on trying to do that with NumPy as a first step. Okay, so I didn't actually have NumPy installed within the virtual environment which we installed previously in one of these sessions. So what I've done here is it's just a little bit of code which allows us to install this package from within the Jupyter Notebook which we're currently operating in. So this is just basically a conda install, but it's using the sys function and it's doing it within our environment, which is this SIA, Satellite Image Analysis environment. So hopefully now we should be able to import that NumPy library. Here we're using the import statement saying we want to go and get this library NumPy, and that imports all of the functions available with NumPy, and then we're able to basically select that package and say that we want a specific function, in this case square root, and we're going to give it the value 25, and it's going to return the square root of 25, which is obviously 5. So that's fairly useful. That allows us to bring these functions into our environment, but one of the good things is that we can actually simplify that at a later stage and specifically just import single functions rather than the whole package. So as one example here, I am not just going to import the whole math library, I'm going to say that I specifically just want to import this one function. So rather than saying import NumPy or just import math, what I'm doing is I'm saying from math import square root, and what that's going to do is it's going to go off and it's only going to import this one square root function. And when you do that, you're able to only reference the function name in the environment, okay, because it's already been loaded in. You don't need to say math.square root or numpy.square root. You can just say the square root function, and you can give it the value 25, and it's going to return the value 5, much like we did before, but just without needing to put this package name at the beginning. It can also be quite monotonous to write out those full package names. So what you can also do is you can say import NumPy as MP. Okay, so this is a convention you might see a lot, and then you can just do mp.square root. Okay, so it saves you writing out NumPy in full, and that can just save you a couple of extra characters that you might need to write. Within that kind of approach, we can go into any of the kind of NumPy library functions. So here we're able to import a sin function and actually get a value for this particular data value of 30. You could do that for any function, any mathematical function that's within that NumPy library. So you can go and look at the documentation for these packages and you'll see they're extremely comprehensive for the different types of functions that you can import. And this is really just the very kind of basic packages which enable you to do some math within Python. Obviously, the packages that you have are extremely large in number for pretty much anything under the sun that can be carried out in Python. So I would encourage you all to think more widely, as we will do through this course, about all the other packages which you could utilize within your research in order to be more efficient, in order to carry out innovative analysis. So you can look at the exercise now and you can work through some of these examples that I've given you in order to understand more about how you import specific modules into your Jupyter Notebook environment. So thanks for tuning in. I hope you have a good day, and I'll see you in the next session. Goodbye.